What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. So we got an amazing show for you here today. I got some things I just want to clear up and touch up on, and then we're gonna address boxing. I'm gonna touch up on this one time as calmly as possible with no disrespect. I don't need to disrespect or belittle a man to get my point across. So for those who want to just they ask me a lot about what's going on with me and Doc boxing or who this guy is and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play the initial video or where all this stuff stemmed from and how everything played out. And then I'm just gonna address it one time and we're gonna go on to boxing and I'm probably not gonna address it again. Okay. So bear with me. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and like always, let's get right into this video. So what's up, fight fans? So I recently had a little situation where that my brand Round One Sports Talk was um put down in a way, right? And I felt anyway. And I felt betrayed by someone I considered, an associate in this boxing um platforms that we have. There was a gentleman by the name of Doc Boxing. I sought him out. I saw him on his stream, and I went there, and I talked to him, and I showed him nothing but love. And my stream was right around his, slightly bigger, and my stream is still a little bit bigger, right? But still, nevertheless, anyone that's willing to talk about boxing, I felt like we can talk boxing. So I viewed him as one of the people that I talk to. A lot of the platforms that I go on multiple platforms, and the brothers know me, you know what I'm saying? We get it popping, you know what I mean? And I'm appreciative for everybody that talks with me boxing and allows me to come on and share. And I will do the same thing and show respect. Never go on someone's platform, then go on yours and try to or like think that any platform I've ever gone on, I tell the people, you are your show. Believe in your show. Just the people you come on make your show better, and you'll always have your fans. Like no one's trying to steal no one's fans here, you know. So what ended up happening was, I thought we had a mutual understanding, and we could always talk. So I'll hop on his channel and, in the comment section, drop something. And everybody knows me, right? I'm just like, I come in shooting the shit, whatever, in my style, in my way, right? So I'm gonna show the video of where everything, like, I really felt like betrayed, and I didn't understand where this was coming from, right? Because me and Doc, we've talked numerous of times about rankings, number one rankings, and how some of these guys are getting into these situations. So this is what happened, right? As I go onto his show, the first comment I said to him was, "Come on, man," right? And I'm laughing. That was my very first comment, right? Because he was going in giving his opinions about the fighters. And if you're gonna have a boxing show, then you should be able to take fans and people coming in and viewing their comments. And you as the host, you address these comments as such, as you go on through your show, right? Okay. So the show he starts to go on his show, right? I'm gonna pull it up right here, right? And then as soon as I come on the show, right away, he addresses me, right? He goes,
A big Inway fan. Let's go, my guy Edwin. No, 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 bro. No, no, no. What, bro? What happened, bro? Talk to me, bro. Talk to me, Edwin. But yeah, so I think that if
so
anybody,
he goes, "Big Naoya Inoue fan," and I had texts in the chat. I said to him, no, 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 right here, right at the bottom, no, 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 bro, right? Which means that I'm telling him that what he was saying, like No, bro, I'm not saying that. You're taking what I'm saying, like, so he continues.
Else was doing this, if Tank wasn't fighting a guy that's been calling him out in his number one mandatory position, they would kill him. If Canelo was
Right.
doing this, they
Okay,
would.
hold on. Let's speed things up. I just want to show you something. Right. At this point, I'm gonna speed things up a little bit. Let's go back up further in the chat. Right. Let's go. Okay. So I come in, and at this point, this is where I remember where I said no, 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 bro. Okay. So the next one I say, drop the link, man, right? Because he's taking what I'm saying and he's not getting it, right? So he proceeds to say how Ahmed Dalia is the number one in the WBA, and then I text one fight, bro, one fight, and they gave him this like mysterious ranking. That's what I was alluding to, like, it's just one fight, my man, like, right, like Sam Goodman got that mysterious ranking, like we talked about it. Berlanga got like that mysterious ranking, and we talked about some of these fighters. So I'm alluding to that only, right? Whether he's worthy, whether he was next in line, that was up for the promoters to argue, right? So I say right here, MJ, one fight, bro. He won one fight, right? How easy on top, right? Which I wanted him to acknowledge that Sam Goodman also has two number one rankings. Yeah, okay. Akmadalia has one number one ranking, and he has two. And then they got, I guess, David, right? Picasso got the WBC number one ranking. So Sam Goodman has two. So I'm merely saying, yo, he has two to his one. I think it would be stronger, right? And then since the IBF was the next man in line in the way that the lining goes for the four belts, a lot of people, when they were typing articles, they quickly put in the word mandatory or this and that. Yes, he can be ordered. He can be a mandatory for the WBA. That is correct, right? But there's an order to things. So the IBF, and we had to acknowledge Sam Goodman's ranking, in which I was going to come back and say, once he said, once you know about that, I'll be like, yeah, but let's think about Sam Goodman's ranking when that shit is suspect too. So that's where I wanted to go with the conversation, to kind of call these guys out on some of these number one rankings, right? Okay. So the conversation keeps going, right? And all of a sudden, we get here, right? So let's push up a little bit, right? So I go number one fight, and then I go on to explain, no, bro, one fight, blah, 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 right? Then his boy gets in, TY, and he says this about me, right? Then I say, I'm going live now. Talk later to you, right? You're taking out of text what I'm saying. I'm explaining to him that you're going on a rant, filling in what you think I'm going to say. And that's not the way I'm going with it. I'm telling him, bro, whoa, 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 whoa. You're going the wrong way with this, bro. You, I don't think he immediately thinks because I'm a Naoya Inoue supporter and I push him out that I'm real biased towards anything that's spoken up against him. Unfortunately, he doesn't watch me enough. He would know that you guys know that I'm critical on Naoya Inoue too, right? So I'm merely trying to state this about fighters getting these number one thing, and he keeps going on a rant about how, watch, check this out. So he gets here in the conversation, right? He
Remember,
gets
Matias
here.
is not number one, two, three, or
Oh, oh,
four.
oh, oh, okay, okay. I'm glad I clicked here, right? In order to debunk what I was saying, he goes on to explain how fighters have these mysterious ranking, and that how a fighter lost his positioning. The fighter he chooses to pick is Subrian Matias. Coincidence that I'm Puerto Rican? So he takes a Puerto Rican fighter, right? And he tries to belittle him to explain his logic. He didn't use any other fighter, any other situation out of the 100,000s. He went and picked a Puerto Rican fighter. So I said, okay, maybe that's the one fresh is on his mind. I'm not going to read too much into that, right? Okay. Check it out.
He's number 5. Who did they say Richardson Hitchens should fight next? Subriel Matias. Did anybody say, oh, Subriel Matias only has 1 win since losing? No one said that, bro. No one said that, bro. But now MJ Akhmadaliev, we gotta switch it up. Oh, he only had 1 win, even though he beat an undefeated. Let's look who MJ Akhmadaliev.
So he gets here, right?
It's a rarity for people.
Hold on. Okay. Let me see when he gets down to this article. Okay. Now, he keeps going on in his rant in his head, right? About everything, right?
Man, you go see Dr. Boxing talk. Wait. They gotta add my name, chat. They gotta add my name, chat. This man said that I'm hating because he's not number 1. Okay, maybe I don't know what number 1 is.
This man is hating because he's referring to me.
Up, man. But yeah. Anyway, though, man, yeah, I'm hating, bro. Yeah. Let me show you this right here, chat. I'm hating here too. I'm hating here because I said a guy. Yeah, I made this up too, chat.
Look, watch him.
I made this up too, chat. Let me show you what else I made up. I'm the editor at Boxing Scene. I made this up. On October 15th, I made this up. That's my real name, chat. Lance Pugmire.
Now, everywhere he's at in this point into this debate right here, right? Everywhere he's at, he got here by himself. Because remind you, my last text is up. Right? It shows that. Look, watch. Look. I am telling him, what you're saying, it's probably the right way, or if you were arguing that specific point, well, then that's how you would make it. But I was never there with you in the conversation. You see? So everything that he's coming to the conclusion is what he's coming to a conclusion by himself. Because I'm blatantly telling him, you're taking what I'm saying out of content. I'm not saying what you're saying. But he's not letting me on to at least have an adult conversation. 2 men, we get on, you share your point, I share my point, whatever, right? But at least you know where I stand. So he goes on and he gets
I'm the one that wrote this article. I made this up, chat, yeah. Let's read this together, chat, the stuff that I made up.
He made up. He's saying that. I'm saying he's making this stuff up.
Akhmadaliev's legal team is positioning.
I never said that. Where in my text does it say that I said any of this stuff?
Over the next fight for Japan.
Just show me in my text. How did he get here? How did he get where he was accusing him of making this up? How did he get there? And in none of my texts, I said he was making it up. I was saying the line order of the belts. He's not first in line. They're saying Sam Goodman is the IBF and that he's next. That Akhmadaliev is next. That's what I was merely stating. Nowhere in his rant did I say any of the things that he's bringing up.
Champion now, anyway. This is stuff I made up. As the WBA mandatory challenge. Oh, what's it say, chat? Hey, Ty, what does it say? This is more. Hey, Smoochie, what's it say? The other stuff I made up? No, he's not, bro. Hey, Dub, what does it say? Can we read this together? As the World Boxing Associations, that'd be the WBA, right? Which coincidentally is this right here, and he's number 1. What does it say, chat? This is stuff that I made up. As the WBA mandatory challenger to Inoue. Huh. That looks crazy. The number 1 challenge.
No one ever said this to him.
I thought I made it.
Now, being the WBA mandatory, okay. There's also an IBF mandatory. There's also a WBO mandatory. And there's also a WBC mandatory. What you're saying has truth behind it. No one ever said that. Yeah, okay. He's a WBA mandatory. Go on.
Oh, my bad. I forgot, chat. My legal name is Lance Pugmire because I made this up. Bro, that's what I'm telling you about boxing fans, bro. They are so biased. They just omit all reason and logic, bro. I mean, I'm sorry. You make up the truth if you want to. Yeah, fake news. My bad. I made that up, chat. I made it up. My man just told me I made up the rankings, yo. Hey, you want to be ranked high? Come holla at me, man. Dr. Boxing Talk got you. You feel me? I made it up, chat. That's crazy. Shout out to my boy Edwin, man. I just made up. Hey, shout out to Edwin for exposing me for fake news.
If you out
Shout
here
out
getting
to
fake
Edwin
vagina
for exposing me to fake
over
news.
your fake
Shout out to
jewelry,
Edwin. He's
reality
specifically
is
saying
reality.
me, right? Specifically saying me. He addressed me.
Bro, this is
He
crazy.
answered what allegedly
I
he
can't
thought
make
the
this up,
situation
man.
was in
I
his
can't
head.
make this up, bro.
He
Apparently I
made
can.
up
My
the
bad. But
situation,
anyway, man.
broke
But
it
yeah, I think
down,
MJ Ahmadali deserves a shot if he beats Ricardo Espinosa, which is
right?
not an easy task. I don't want to overlook him. But like I said, I think Naoya could do what he wants. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to fight him, but I do think that he deserves a chance. Everybody deserves a chance if that's the position that you're in. He deserves it, and nobody should discredit people because they like or dislike them. He said, "You're right about the spot taking. Like I said, anything you're saying, that's what I mean. I'm not talking about that part. I mean, you got it, bro. I don't. It doesn't matter, bro. So you good. You got it, bro.
He
Matias flopped at
acknowledged
home.
what I
He's still my
said to
guy, bro.
him,
You got
but
it.
late.
He's in the toilet, low key, right? Dot Blood put up. He's lucky
Right?
to punch
Then his
this
boy,
one.
his little
I don't know,
fanboy
bro.
gets
I mean,
on,
I'm wrong. I made it up. You know, I be making. I'm a
right?
hater. I like that. Now your
Now
anyway
look
is
at
on
my
my intro,
text.
chat. I like anyway. Just because he's on my intro and on my
Look
stream,
at
don't
my
mean I like him
text.
though.
Look at my text. Yes, you're right about that. Right? I put stop stop talking like I said anything or said or saying that, right? Now at this point, I'm probably texting fast. I was trying to get on my live. I have two screens. I'm like doing like this, right? What I mean, I'm not talking about that part, right? I explained it to him. I told him, bro, what you're saying about the WBA ranking and the mandatory slot, I'm not talking about any of that. I was never talking about that part. Nothing. I merely said it that this number one stuff, because we've talked about stuff like this and how guys are getting this mysterious rankings and stuff like that. And I alluded to the fact so that he can say the ranking and I say, yeah, check out Sam Goodman's ranking. I don't think that shit was like, that shit is kind of suspect too, right? So he went on this whole tirade about it, right? And what ended up happening was um, I never get on his live. I never get to defend myself or anything. But at the entire time, I'm trying to diffuse the situation. As you can see in my texts, I keep telling him, no, you're not saying what I'm saying. Like I'm alerting him to a homeboy. I think you got me fucked up here. I you know, my ideas are not lining up with your ideas. And if you're going to challenge me on something, at least challenge me on what I mean, not what you're guessing. So he goes on a lot, right? And I mean, my man says a lot here, right? Then he goes on to say that what was it here? Let's see here. So anyway, basically, I'm gonna waste any more of you guys' time there. Let me break the rest down. If you want to watch the video, you can. So and then once he got frustrated with his notion and he built up so much inside of his head of how he felt that he was so right, he must have got so comfortable in front of the mic and then just decided to call me an idiot, a fool, and that he didn't know why I had feelings towards Naoya anyway, and that he found that weird that I was promoting a Japanese fighter, and that means I must have tendencies towards him, right? Now, all of that came out of just me saying, hey, as you can see, nowhere in those chats are you going to ever find me ever disrespecting him, calling him out his name, or saying anything. But it just goes to show you in life, when God wants bad people removed from your life, they'll reveal themselves to you. whenever a situation and someone deems you to be better than them or something, or a threat in any way, they'll try to discredit you. He goes on to double down, right? I do my live. I said what I felt. I felt betrayed because I considered him somebody. I didn't know where this was all coming from. And, you know, they'll he revealed himself to me as the serpent that he is, right? Then he goes on in the first 30 seconds of my video. I mean, the first 30 seconds, I tell you guys, just got a fresh haircut. So I got hair falling down. It's in my ears. I got my nose hairs trimmed, my lip, everything right, my face. So my face is on fire, right? I'm heated. I'm getting a little sweated. And I got this hair all everywhere just itching me. So I'm like this, wiping it, like everything's freshly cut. So his boy comes on and goes, "Look, he looks like he's tweaking. He must be on drugs." He goes on to double down to try to discredit my character. He tries to um, uh, uh, like down my streaming and my boxing IQ. His method is in his platform. He's gotten to the point where that if you challenge anything he says, with him and his little bit of viewerships, it's gotten to his head to the point where that he feels like if you say anything against what he's spewing out, then you're just a hater. He won't acknowledge anyone, and he only goes with the people that are like his loyal supporters that go on that kiss his ass, right? And I was like, wow, really taken back by how a person that all you ever did was go on, talk with him, try to show him love, bring people to the channel, can turn around and like really like show their ass for some clicks, views, and likes. And since like I'm getting new in this, I'm on a few years, 3 years or so, and like my mentality is still street. Like, where do they do this at? You know what I'm saying? And like you're still walking around, like, and but my mentality can't be as that. I gotta be bigger than the person that's trying to shit on me. I see what he's doing. I see what approach he's trying to, discredit me to see if he can get views or whatever. Then he went on. The worst thing was he went and used the race card. He went and said that I was exploiting black channels and that I'm using them to get views. I was like, my man, did you just go to the race card a bit too early on a conversation that's not? I was like, for black folks in America, including myself, Puerto Ricans, we've been here the whole time with y'all. We just as equal. We're minorities too. We've felt the the scrutiny and the racism from all these races, just like you. That was a big stretch in his part, but you can see that right away. And it goes to show you what kind of low class individual he is when there's real stuff and real issues going around that really need attention. Quickly, he goes to that. I'm racist, but I'm defending a Japanese dude. Really? And I'm Puerto Rican. Like, I can't make this shit up. So, in his weak attempt to try to like discredit me in a conversation we've still yet to have, you got to understand that this only broke out on his side, and he got real disrespectful and didn't expect. I don't know what he expected from me, not to answer that. So I kind of lost it. I was like, bro, man, I went back to that like old behaviors of a man, and I kind of like allowed myself to address it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the last time I'm gonna address it. He's not worth my time or anything else. But I told you everything he was gonna do. That's the remarkable thing. When I went back and I looked at my video, I started laughing because every gimmick, everything he did, I called it. I said, I'm gonna tell you exactly the way he's gonna do everything. That's how, because I know people like him, and he's transparent, he's see-through. He's so fake that I was able to call every move he made from the time he was alerted of my video. Didn't I? Go back to my video, watch it. I got receipts. I'm gonna watch it when I get in it to explain it. When the guy asks me, "Yo, I came in late. What happened?" and I go back into detail, and I told you what he was gonna do. He was gonna say, "I don't argue with fools, and I don't entertain that stuff because what he's gonna do is try to avoid it. He doesn't what he likes is he likes to be a bully, but he likes to be his victims to be speech voiceless. He doesn't like confrontation. He just likes to say his side and his view because according in his head, he's boxing God. Whatever he says has to go. So he doesn't like a challenge. He doesn't like when you confront him. So he's going to say everything to discredit me. So that way he can say that that's why he's not going to confront me like a real man. And he did exactly that. I mean, move step by step. And I was looking and I was going, bro, I called his every move. His every move. He did exactly what I said he was going to do. So, I mean, he's not even on my level. So, I mean, when I'm calling your movements, calling you out, putting up what was happening, like, you know, I kind of like, in a sense, I don't know. I kind of feel sorry for the guy, man. I mean, delusion is, it's a mental state. And when you enter a delusional state like that and you get confronted and you just back in a corner, and what you try to use is like, this persona or image that you're not. Like, just spew anything. Like, he didn't show up for himself in any area as a man, as a platform, nothing. It was just horrible. So I kind of feel sorry for him, man. But yo, you try to help people out, you try to be cool with people sometimes and shit. And this kind of behavior happens, man. And it's just like this is like the definition of hater and jealousy. I never said anything to the man, bro. I never said anything disrespectful. Nowhere on the line for you to start saying that I got homo tendencies towards another man. And yet, now that I snap, now I'm that. And then his argument is not a real argument because we never had that conversation. So all his points, like, no, you would say, but bro, get off of that. We never even got there. So, and I'm done with it. I'm done with it. All right, folks, because that's what to all the people that text me and they were like, "Yo, what's going on? What happened? Why?" And then like my other guys like, "Why did Doc Boxing report you to YouTube?" That was some real bitch shit and stuff. And I was like, "Bro, I mean, he went and said a video about me. I said a video about him, and he goes to psyching and crying and trying to like get my channel shut down and stuff." I was like, "Wow, man." Like, this guy is something else. I like, look, man, I'm done with him. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just done. What's up, baby? What's up? I'm Matt. How you doing, brother? That dude's a joke, huh? I used to debate some people in the past. I know this experience and been in the before, yeah. Yeah. Yo, thank you, man. Jesus. I got Jesus Christ in the channel, you know what I'm saying? He's showing up. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. It's just then I didn't want to talk about it no more. But then since I made that video and went on that kind of rant and shit, I kind of felt that I wouldn't leave my fans that weren't familiar with what was going on, you know. So now I was like, damn, I gotta address it. I gotta address it. So I addressed it. He's just a clown, bro. Uh, so let's just talk boxing. So, guys, Let's get back locked in, laser focus. Jaime Mungia. What happened, homeboy? You got knocked the fuck out. Yo, Jaime Mungia. Yo, what happened?
Another one.
Yo, didn't I tell you at the beginning of this year on Round One Sports Talk? Be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose. That's the theme for this year's Round One Sports Talk. So throughout the years, I told you guys I was gonna reintegrate it. I was gonna remind you guys what my theme for the entire year was. Be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose. That's what I said. So because I said there's a lot of new guys coming up. There were guys who are going to be on their way out. We were going to witness. And I felt like a lot of moving parts were going to start to happen after that huge explosion in 2023. So Jaime Mungia goes in the ring and he was doing good. He was doing great. He dropped homeboy. Homeboy went down. The crowd's cheering. Home crowd. You got the crowd on your side. You got the Mexican legends in attendance. Julio Cesar Chavez was calling your fight. Bro, he's down on the ground. Yo, shit's going right, right? All of a sudden, the fight starts to take place. Homeboy weathers the storm. And all of a sudden, the rounds start to go by. And I start to notice that this guy is fighting a little bit faster. If you go check out my live, right? Unfortunately, I believe it was mixed up with the rant. But if you skip by that, you get down to the action. And I start to say, yo, Jaime, gotta watch out for this guy punching back. Jaime's standing there a little bit too much now in the pocket. Yo, no sooner than I was saying it, boop, Jaime goes down. I was like, right? And in the live stream, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, like I'm watching the fight unfold. And what I was seeing was that Jaime Mungia was doing good. He was showing good patience in the fight. He was showing a better patience than in his last fights, where that he was really, revved up and always anxious and ready to go and come in the inside. Jaime Mungia was showing patience, but he's in the point in his career where he's learning. He's in that weird spot where he's learning when and where to use it. So at some point in the fight, he starts to get a little bit tired and he's getting caught with shots. Jaime Mungia slowly starts to divert back to the old fighter right in front of you. He starts to do things that he used to do, where that he would stay inside of the pocket in the fire and exchange big, right? Okay. So and then what happened was he had this dude on the ropes hurt. Let's play out the sequence leading into the knockdown. Jaime Mungia's knockdown. He threw the jab. He had the guy going backwards. When he was applying the pressure, the guy shelled up against the rope. At this point, Jaime hit him with that two-piece, and the guy just shelled up again, and Jaime Mungia stood there. He didn't bounce on his toes like he was. He just stood there. Notice the guy go like this, and he saw that he stood right there. Jaime threw another 1-2. Boom, boom, right? The guy rose off the ropes. He's on the ropes, and he sees real quick that when Jaime threw his little piece, Jaime stood there and his hands were no longer up here like he started the fight. His hands now were down here. His technique started to go by the wayside and he started to divert back into the old fighter he was. Homeboy didn't fucking blink, bro. He saw that opening. He said, you standing there like a statue. He went, boom, and he let it go. And he had enough pop, enough speed still. He was still dangerous. And Jaime Mungia wasn't expecting him to throw a punch back because he kept going into the high guard, fading away, right? So Jaime thought, oh, I got this guy. I got him. I got him on the ropes now. And he didn't feel like he had to evade because he thought that the guy had conceded in the fight that he was getting his ass whooped. This guy just cocked back and, bro, he put Jaime Mungia's jaw on the top row. He hit that shit into the bleachers, baby. That was a fucking walk-off home run. One punch. Boop! Sat him down. Then quickly, I already knew it. This is expected. You know, all the fighters are going to hit social media and express, you know what I'm saying, like what they felt in the fight, right? And I was like, no, Jaime, right? Because I knew Edgar Berlanga was going to hit this, yo, quick, right? Yo, Edgar Berlanga didn't miss a beat, right? Edgar was like, yo, you fucked up the bag, bro. Like, we were supposed to fight, and you know whether or not Edgar Berlanga is, you know how these boxers get in and start like, oh, I was gonna fight you, but now I'm not. You know what I mean, motherfucker? He was never gonna fight me, right? I'm not sure. I think Edgar was planning on trying to fight him, type shit. But when a cherry pick gone wrong goes wrong, this is what happens. You get a hereditarily unknown in your hometown. You were supposed to get a victory. And what was going to make it impressive, you also were going to beat an undefeated fighter. Man, we couldn't have dressed it up better. Oh, Jaime Mungia, all you got to do is go out there and win. So all you got to do, just do your part. Oh, Jaime, get up. Yo. That fucking sucks when that happens. But be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose. So, although Jaime Mungia reality lost this fight, he got knocked out, makes it kind of bad. Jaime Mungia is still beloved by the Mexican fans. I think that the Mexican fans, I don't think I know they're gonna still back him. Jaime Mungia's name still rings bells. His name is still bigger than 65% of the guys in the division. His name is still bigger than 65% of the guys in the division. So, although he lost, he's the kind of fighter that will be like an AJ situation. Now, AJ lost twice to Usyk, but it seemed like the boxing world still believed in him. He had a lot of doubters, of course. You're going to have your doubters, but they still came out to see him fight. They still backed him. I believe Jaime Mungia is in the same similar situation, such as a fighter like AJ. I think Jaime Mungia is beloved by the Mexican fans. They understand he's a warrior. They understand shit happens. Okay? I think that the Mexican fans should back him. I think, you know, go out there and fight another tough fight, kid. Fuck it. You know, if you go out there and try to pick another cherry pick and you beat them, they're going to accuse you about this cherry pick. You're not going to really get the credit you deserve, Jaime. Jaime, what you need to do right now, by fighting a tough fight, a guy with a good name, and beating him, now you have something to write on. Because now the talk is going to be, yo, Jaime just beat him. Whoever this guy is, the name, has got to be somebody worthy. And if you can pull that off, that's how you get back in the good graces with the boxing world. By beating a guy that's very terribly unknown, that's not going to solve your problems. Getting back into where the top level guys are, somewhere in between the top 10, top 15 guys, you get in there or something and you knock one of them off. Now you got your name because you're beating somebody. Doesn't have to be the top elite guys, no, but it could be somebody in there, in right in there. And like Edgar Berlanga, although Edgar Berlanga doesn't have or shouldn't have a huge ranking, right? But Edgar Berlanga's coming off that big fight. You lost to Saul too. You guys got a common foe. Let's see how you two fight against. He's coming off a loss and you're coming off a loss. Technically, Edgar Berlanga, so he can't really be slick about his words because what was your last fight? A loss. So okay, Jaime lost. So let's see if, and then that would be a really risky fight because that would be a must-win fight for both guys. So I believe that both guys would come out with their A game. And of course, that would be Mexico versus Puerto Rico. That rivalry, we love those rivalries when these two Latin countries come to give us action. It's always action packed, sometimes one sided. But when we get the Mexican slick style perform at its highest level, and you have the Puerto Rican style perform at its highest level, and you got their top fighters, boy, there's nothing like those kind of fights. And let me tell you right now, right? I love me some Mexico Puerto Rico rivalry. So I would always welcome a fight like that, and I believe that both men, I mean Jaime Mungia and from what I take, he has the more experience when it comes to the amount of fighters and in the ring because with every fight there's experience. No matter what, if that guy's a cab driver, you still learn from that. Okay. So it's better when the guy is pushing you and making a better fight and bringing the best out of you. Yes, that's always better, but experience is experience, whether it's small or big. You're getting experience. So Jaime Munguia for me is the more experience out of the two. In some cases, I don't think that always that tells the story. There are some men that have small records that are very experienced and very worthy, being um, uh, David the Monster Benavidez and Davis Morale, right? David Morale has a small record, but I think that he's worthy. I think that he has enough experience, as a fighter, and he's he's at that level. Okay. So that's why sometimes some of these guys' records don't tell the whole story. You got to really know these fighters and know some of their background to determine which ones are worthy and which ones are clout chasing in today's era. And it kind of paints you a picture because I remember when fighters like Bruce Carrington were said to be ready to fight Naoya anyway. They were at one point saying Bruce Carrington would fight him tomorrow and beat him tomorrow. Once we saw his level of competition go up, he was exposed in some areas. Then you realize and you saw for yourself, well, maybe he's not ready. Maybe he looked good because he was fighting these guys. You know, there are going to be a lot of young top prospects that are going to have to hold their own, and they're sooner or later, they're going to have to make that big leap to that next level. Abdullah Mason is one of those young fighters. Xander Zion is one of those young fighters. And even Andy Cruz. Like I think that he's definitely one of the guys that you need to pay attention to. I think that they're moving him along good. I would like to see more and more of him. You know, he's not that young. I believe he's 28 years old, going on 29, right? So he has a young boxing career, but he entered boxing fairly late as a pro. So I think that they should move Andy along a little bit faster and take a little bit more risk with him, being the fact that his age is not on his side. So you see, so that's why I say that a lot of fighters are in different situations. Not all boxing situations are the same because boxing is an individual sport where that it's one man responsible for the road that he takes. Every man's road is not the same. You see? And sometimes we as fans, we're quick to jump on these guys about certain situations that we believe apply to all boxers. And sometimes some situations don't apply to all boxers. So I can see where some people, boxing can be a little complicated of a sport sometimes with all these organization interim belts and whether or not this belt is real or not, and who's the best fighter in the world, and opinions are like assholes. We all have one. So you can really get lost in, you know, trying to figure out all these rules and understanding that every city and country that you box in, the rules are different. The rules are not the same in the Philippines as they are for Russia. They're not the same in Russia as they are in Italy, you know, Greece, Germany. All these um, places that I name, they all have their own sets of rules. They also have their own boxing athletic committee that sort of works together, but slightly different in every region. So that's where things can get complicated from the outside looking in, thinking that things are as simple as why didn't this guy just take the fight? Sometimes things are not as just simple as that. Sometimes guys have commitments to other fights that they're not, telling you. Just like Sam Goodman didn't bother to explain to everyone that just before he jumped in the ring with Naoya anyway, allegedly, he already had this next fight scheduled. And that his whole thing was when he got in the ring, he didn't say, fight me after this fight. He said, fight me next or vacate the belts. I've been the mandatory for over a year. Fight me next. He didn't say, fight me after the fight that I have or vacate the belts. So he gave the impression that Naoya, he was supposed to fight Naoya Inoue next. When the fans and myself saw that he was fighting this relatively unknown fighter, and we looked him up and we questioned, why are you fighting this guy? It really didn't make Sam Goodman look good. And by him addressing it, not during the fight, he addressed it after the fight. The reason why. No, I already had that fight scheduled. Now we found it hard to believe. Like, oh, you had all this time to think that through to give us your answer. You didn't give us your answer when you jumped in the ring. Your answer when you jumped in the ring was fight me next. So Sam Goodman pulls this fiasco off, enters TJ Doheny, which at this time enters MJ Akmadalia. Now I'm going to try my best not to mix up his name today with Marlon Tapales, and now I'm not sure if I made a mistake and said Marlon Tapales' name, and now it's going to be in my head. But I'm going to try to do my best, so because I'm going to confront my issues, and I have a problem with this, so this is what I'm confronting. This is going to be my task today, not to screw up the names. So MJ Akmadalia and his team come into the equation at this point. They're coming into the equation while not being active, only fighting one fight, Kevin, the undefeated fighter, after losing your belt. Okay. They said, fight a title eliminator. They deemed you the number one contender. You say you're the next number one. You guys feel that Sam Goodman should have been fighting Naoya anyway, but now TJ Doheny's fighting him. So MJ comes in and says, I wanted the fight. So let's just back up a little bit further back, right? What happens is MJ comes in and says, I'll take the fight, but you're going to have to move the date. Naoya Inoue says, I'm not moving the date. Can you make it? Yes or no? They move on. They call TJ Doheny. He says, I can make the date. I will fight you. They say, great. They schedule a fight between them. MJ Akmadalia's team decides to take Top Rank and Bob Arum to court to petition that their number one ranking should be next and that Naoya Inoue should fight him. Being the fact that MJ took step aside money in the Luis Pantera Nari fight and that he would have been the next guy in line. But what ended up happening was MJ Akmadalia didn't hold up on his part of the bargain. When he took that step aside money and allowed their fight to continue, he was supposed to stay in shape. He was supposed to stay ready, active, because we already made a deal. You took the step aside, so you're going to be next. So when they offered him the fight to be ready and next, Naoya Inoue said, we're dealing with professionals here, right? Of course he's going to be ready. They called him. He said, I'm not ready. How the hell are you not going to be ready when we paid you step aside money? You knew you were next. Why can't you make this date? So due to some of his unprofessionalism, he basically got overlooked. MJ, okay. So they go and they take it to the Boxing Athletic Committee. The Boxing Athletic Committee deemed that Sam Goodman, in fact, is the next man in line for the IBF. When he printed out the story and this guy read it to all of us and he was saying mandatory, as you can see, if you want to go back, it's up there. It says it in the same article that he's next in line. He's the next man in line, meaning he's the number one after Sam Goodman. He's allegedly the next man in line. So, so now I said to myself, okay, let's look at what's going on. Who got the fight against Naoya Inoue? Sam Goodman. Your lawyers went in front of the Boxing Athletic Committee, and the Boxing Athletic Committee deemed that Sam Goodman was the next man and that you would still be next. Okay, so who is right here? Who's getting the fight? So your number one ranking for the WBA is what? Next. It's not now. If the Boxing Athletic Committee would have said, wait a minute, we got to honor WBA's ranking. No, they figured out that the IBF was, in fact, next in line. They won. And that's where we are. So now that Naoya Inoue's fight with Sam Goodman got pushed back, and they didn't find a late replacement because I don't think they were going to find a better, more qualified replacement than Sam Goodman. I don't think they were going to find it. Seeing that David Picasso fought, seeing that MJ Akmadalia fought, those were two of the high guys, and then the other guys he already beat, so it wasn't a case of that. Now, that being all said, I believe that, yes, in fact, it should have been Marlon Tapales. Now, there was an announcement made that Bob Arum has already officially said that it's going to be David Picasso in United States in Las Vegas. Now, I see that as the boxing promoter shitting on each other and getting into a pissing contest, and Uncle Bob showing them his muscles. Uncle Bob telling them, I don't need you. I think they went and pissed off Uncle Bob, and now the fighters are the one that are stuck left looking like, what's up, guys? What's up with this situation? And sometimes the boxing promoters can really jump in and screw things up for you. You could have been in a position where you were calling all your fights, but there'll be a time where your boxing promoter jumps in and says, nope, I ain't working with him. It just so happens that I guess every promoter they've been working with all the way up until now, everything's been kicked off without a hitch. It's only in the case with MJ and his promotional company and management that there seems to be an issue. Whatever the issue is, I'm not sure about it, and I don't think I'm qualified to answer any of that. I'm not in the rooms. I'm not reading over contracts, so I'm not going to even pretend to know or say anything that I unless I was told something, but I wasn't. So all I can say for sure is there's a situation here. There's definitely something wrong with this whole situation, you know? But at the end of the day, when we step back and we just take a deep breath and we look about exactly who are we talking about in this situation, Naoya, in a way, yeah. You think anybody can beat him at 122 right now? Because that's what we got to measure him on. Can't think about 126. He's not there. Where is he actually at? 122. Okay. Who can beat him in 122? Who? I'm not talking about give him a good fight. I'm not talking about give him a challenge because you're talking about every single fighter at 122. You're describing every single fighter. Every fighter will give him a challenge. Every fighter will try their best. Every fighter. So that's not a good breakdown. Tell me a fighter you absolutely think that would rock him at 122. So if that's the way we feel, what are we talking about? Why are we arguing about who's won what? Just get in line. It really doesn't matter who's first, second, whatever. You're all going to get knocked out accordingly. You're all going to get the smoke. Just work it out and everybody bunch up, get in line, and I'll knock you out one at a time. Because that's what it's really coming down to. They want to argue about place in line, about fighting who? This guy. The argument is typically on them about who they feel should be next to his supremacy because he has the 4 belts, not none of these guys. So they're all fighting just to fight him. He's just standing there waiting, looking, going, all right, whoever you put in front of me. It doesn't matter. I've already told you guys, I am the king here. I have all 4 belts for a reason. There's nobody else better than me here. Nobody. So who am I supposed to be scared of? If he didn't want to be that kind of champion, he would have just got 1 or 2 belts and played it safe and stood over here. Never fought for those other belts. No, but Naoya Inoue got all the belts and declared himself one king. That means that you got to accept all challenges. You have to. You made yourself that kind of king. That means everybody in that weight division is coming after you. What, when you think of a man like that, what do you think about? Do you think a man like that, undefeated, 22 consecutive world title fights, 4 weight division, all 4 belts, 2 separate weight divisions, one of the most accomplished fighters we have today, if not the most accomplished fighter we have today, by far, that guy's a duck? The most skilled fighter we have today. And by opinion, you got to have him at least in the top 3, right? So he has to be at least one of them. That's what you're saying about the most skilled fighter we have today? What does that say about everybody else? Shit, everybody must be trash if the best fighters we got today are a bunch of ducks. I guess so, right? So listen. What's up, Lloyd? How you doing, brother? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I fuck with you too, brother. You don't gotta take no sides. You could, real talk. I wish him nothing but the best. And I probably let the best of me yesterday, my anger, but I'm not that spiteful of a man. You know what I'm saying? If you want to stay subscribe to him, that's your choice. No problem. I would respect you either way because I'm not going to belittle myself or bring myself. Nah, I listen from the bottom of my heart, man. I wish him no malice. I hope his channel grows and flourishes. You know, God don't like ugly, man. And sometimes we can be mad and we can speak out of turn. And I think hopefully I made my point that in actuality, I never had anything against him. Never disrespected him. I never said anything foul to him. and for him to lash out at me like that really put me in a corner where I felt like I had to defend myself. Where do they do that at, Lloyd? That you seen I put up my texts. I was transparent with you guys. I didn't say anything slick, anything foul. I didn't disrespect the man. I didn't say anything. Just by basic common comments. That's all. Where do they do that at, Lloyd, where I could come out and call you an idiot on a platform that anybody has the potential saying your name, your YouTube channel's name, degrading you when you never saw this coming, Lloyd. Then he calls you a homo. And you got female tendencies towards this Japanese dude. So honestly, Lloyd, when you would see someone like that on a platform that is typically, whatever viewers can watch it, that the impression you're gonna leave it? So that people, whoever watches this show goes, wow, this round one guy must be a real fucking, because this is what this guy says. So I felt like I really had to defend myself in a situation I really didn't feel I had any beef over. I never had nothing towards it. And I keep saying that. This is not a real argument. The argument that he's arguing, we never really had initially. All the facts he brought, all that shit. Look at this. He's saying I said this. Show me where I said that. Show me where I said you're lying about the ranking. I was referring about the order in line with the belts. They're all number ones. But you got to also address that number one and this number one and explain who is first in line. And even if he felt like MJ was first in line, but just let them know that there's more number ones, because that's where I was at. I was on the ranking of number one. All this other stuff coming out the side of your neck, calling me a fool, an idiot. Where did all that come from? Where did the name calling come from? Where did the disrespect come from? And it just goes to show you that a person will reveal himself in time. Whenever you want to see a person reveal himself, just don't talk. Allow them to continue talking, and in due time, they'll show up. Who they really are, their true colors, they'll show up. When you see people like this, you're like, oh shit, like he's adapted this persona that you can't question his logic. His logic is undeniable. You can't, and then in actuality, if I'm being honest, he's the fool, and I shouldn't have argued with him. If anything, that was me. I kept trying to diffuse it. It was my fault for kept texting him and saying, yo, brother, you're taking what I'm saying out of content. No, 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 no. I didn't say that. I'm addressing him. Yo, stop. I didn't say what you're saying. I'm not saying that. Anything you're saying, all my texts was trying to diffuse the whole situation, but he chose to take it to this level without me being able to say anything. He just assumes that that's the way I would think. He just assumed that that's what I would have said to him. He played it out in his head, and we never had that conversation, as you can see. I was never on his show. So it was just real disrespectful, real distasteful. In the street and stuff, I guess when you got issues or problems, whether you can address it or you run into them later or whatever, but we're kind of taught to confront our problems. I mean, that's how I always thought it was. You don't talk about a man when he leaves the room. We don't play that shit. We'll call you on that shit where I'm from real quick. We'll allow you to run your mouth as soon as that dude comes in. Yo, homeboy was saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, say it to his face right here, bro. He's right there. Like, yo, I don't know how many times in my life I've seen shit like that jump off. Cause like everywhere I'm from, we all do it. We don't, nah, don't talk shit when he leave. Let the man be here to be able to be here to defend himself. That's don't hide behind a camera and a microphone and take shot at a person that is doesn't have no voice. You're just shining to shine and giving yourself a pat on the back for winning arguments to yourself. That's kind of shitbaggish. That's like snake behavior. But my girl's right. She was like, "Yo, Ed, man, you gotta thank God that he revealed himself now, because what if, you guys would have been doing this for X amount of years and you guys get really big and then his intentions were to do this. So just take this as a blessing in disguise, and you virtually got rid of this guy for nothing." Like I used to tell her all the time, like some guy will owe me $25 or $40, and every time I see him in the hood, he runs the other way, and I'll want to go after him. She grabbed me and she's like, "Yo, you got rid of that problem for $40. He'll never ask you for another favor. Every time he sees you, he's just gonna go the other way. You just got rid of him for $40. Now he can't come ask you for anything." I looked at her and I was like, "You're right. You're right." So sometimes you just got to address some of these situations. Yo, I just got rid of you for nothing. I'm glad you showed who you were, and boom. But you know what? I'm still not going to be spiteful, because my Lord teaches me forgiveness, and I got to practice some of these lessons in life. Sometimes you just got to be the bigger man and take the high road, right? You know, I ain't got nothing else to say, but I had an overwhelming messages saying, "Yo, what's going on? What's this? What's that?" Even from my family. And I was like, all right, let me just address this one more time. So that's why I felt a little compelled to address it. I'm sorry if we're not talking about boxing and some of these things, take place, because I just want to talk boxing. That's it. That's it. But now I know that if I go on boxing, according to him, if I go on other channels and there happen to be black folk on that channel, then I'm exploiting black people. And I'm just not a passionate guy talking about boxing. He must not know where I was raised. Right? Right? So, you know, um, I just talk with people. When I go inside those platforms, all I see are the faces that I'm more familiar with, and I shoot the shit with them. I'm comfortable. When I go to those platforms, I feel like, even though we argue and debate and shit, I just feel like those are the people that what they look like, that I've always talked to in the street, in school, everywhere. They're the same looking people. I never viewed it like that. When for the first time in my fucking life, they pulled the race card on me, I was like thrown back. I was like, "What? Are you what?" So I knew that he was desperate. He was really, really trying to reach for something. Yeah, to try to discredit me. Like, he's now they're just desperate now. Yeah. So I was just like, wow, that's a big stretch right there. I was like, man, I was just like, you know what? It is what it is, man. You know what? Have a nice day. God bless you. I hope you nothing but success over there. Look, just go that way, bro. Just go that way. That's all. Yeah, that's right. It's always more boxing here. There's this one little hiccup with this stupid drama stuff that I just wasn't gonna let him shit on my brand. That's all. Not on Round One Sports Talk. You could have said some shit about me. I'd be like, all right, cool. I've been shitted on before. You know what I'm saying? On channels. I've been cooked on some channels before. It don't mean nothing. That would have never. But when you come at my integrity as a human being and the brand that I'm building, I couldn't allow that. And that's all. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say about it. But anyway, guys, listen. Yeah, man. Look, what do you guys think about the rest of the year that's closing off right now? The one of the last biggest fights is going to be the Tyson Fury fight, right? With Usyk. Yo, I love the commercials for the lead up and the build up. I got to admit, yo, them ads are the shit. Yo, that shit is hilarious. They got Tyson Fury in like the hospital bed, and the nurse comes in, and it's like Usyk and shit. Like both fighters are, no matter what they're doing in their day, they keep seeing each other's. Tyson Fury is under the covers in his shrink's office. He's like, I see Usyk people. Like, yo, that shit was hilarious. Well directed, well done. Um, no, the best part of it is when he headbutts his father, right? And the blood is like trickling out of his head. Yo, that was classic. That right there was because remember in one of his fights, his father goes crazy at a post fight and he headbutts something himself, some shit. How did that it transpired? I forget. And the picture of Tyson Fury's dad having blood coming down his face, right? And then him go like he thought he saw Uzyk's face. He grabbed him, headbutt him. He's like, snap out of it, lad. He's like, Dad? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that was like, yo, whoever thought of that shit, those commercials like that, that's pretty fucking cool, bro. You know, he really like put that together pretty well, anticipating on both guys, and they call each other. He's like, "Yo, we gotta end this." He's like, "I'm gonna end you," like, you know what I mean? And that shit was real cool, man. Those commercials. So, that right there in itself is probably the biggest fight, heavyweight supremacy. We talk about it. The heavyweight championship of the world is the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. You can't get any higher. It's the best belt in all of boxing, the heavyweight championship of the world. So this is big. Um, I talked about us saying like I wish that you know America was in there, for another heavyweight champion. We need one. Dante Wilder was our last and shit. And I want some of these belts, man. And then at the cruiserweight, middleweight, super middleweight, in those divisions as well. So you know, and like at the 154-pound weight division, even if young Xander Zion was to ever become champion, we already have two American champions at 154, Terrence Crawford and Sebastian Fundora. So those are two American champions, but above 154, we're struggling. We are struggling, man. So right there, that's where I want, some of our guys to come in at the 160, and above. 168, we see that Saul, what he's doing. So it's gonna be real hard to get someone at like 168 and shit, right? To like break that until he walks away, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not, you know, uh, you never know. Saul can call it quits tomorrow. You just don't know where he's at anymore. His heart seems to be into it still, Saul's heart. He's not giving any signs or indication that he's gonna stop. So let me not mislead anybody that maybe walked in and thinking, what are you saying about Saul? No, Saul never said no shit like that, right? But he is at the point where Saul is like saying, like, how many big fights can he have? Much longer can he do this? Um, and if he does lose, is he going to be that type of fighter that's stubborn and doesn't want to end his career? Because as we all know, some of these fighters don't retire well. They're all the way up in their late 40s still fighting, getting knocked out of the ring, and really messing up their case for a better um, type of champion. Many champions should have been in these conversations, I feel, that were deserving, but unfortunately, they ruined their career, like Roy Jones. I don't always like to use Roy Jones as an example, but he is one of the guys that I firmly believe, man, he should be in the conversation. He should. But having 10 losses and knocked out 8 times, that fucks up your fucking argument, man. And when some of these guys don't retire well and they go on, oh, I don't want to call it quit shit, they really fuck up their record. And although some fans would like to say, no, let's just talk about this period in time in his career. He was the best. Yeah, he was. But if we're going to talk about his career, we must talk about his entire career. You just can't watch um the entire movie and then turn it off at the end when Bonnie and Clyde get gunned down. You don't want to see Oyella die. You turn off the movie. No, you got to watch the entire movie. You can't read the book 80% and say, oh, I'm done. I know how it goes, and leave the last 20% of the book unread. And say, yeah, that book was amazing. How would you know? You didn't read the entire book. So when you look at these guys' career, there are some fighters that, yeah, are deserving to, it should have been deserving to be in certain conversations, but their inability to retire well has really pushed them out of the room. Yeah. And I'm afraid that Manny Pacquiao's on the verge of doing such. He still hasn't retired. He's hinting around rumors and possibilities of fighting Mario Barrios still. Okay. He's not in the Hall of Fame because he doesn't have 5 years retired. The Hall of Fame takes you serious once you have 5 years retired because they know how crazy these fighters are. After 2 or 3 years sitting on the couch, they're back in the gym talking about, I'm back. I'm back. And now the clock starts ticking from your last fight. Now you got to stay retired 5 years from there. And that's why Manny Pacquiao still hasn't been in the Hall of Fame. And I think he's playing with fire. Why are you still fighting, my man? You made millions of dollars throughout your career. Are these rumors true that you blew all your money? I thought those were just rumors. You still got to fight? You mean to tell me, Manny, that you really blew that much money in the Philippines when the equivalence of $1 million American would probably be 3 million or so out there? Some outrageous shit like that. I'm not sure what exactly, I could be off on the math there, but I'm just trying to give you a rough. So whatever you had in real American cash when you went out there was basically doubled or tripled. So you went through all that money that you can't retire in peace? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. But I heard the rumors. I heard everybody saying all this stuff about Manny Pacquiao, a whole bunch of situations, but you can't believe everything you hear. I'm not in Manny Pacquiao's bank account. I'm not sure if that's true or not. These are just rumors and stories that people throw around. But I do know that he's still fighting. And I question, why is a man like you still fighting? You're revered like in the Philippines, like a godlike status. You should not want or need anything. Did you fuck that up? Like, there was a point in Manny Pacquiao's life, legitimately, he could have just stopped doing everything. Just sat on his ass, and the Philippines would have loved him forever. I don't know what his situation is, but I hear a lot of negative stuff, but I chalk that to haters sometimes. So I don't believe everything they say about Manny. Oh, he has a gambling problem. He has this. He gives away money. He gets drunk. all this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, typical rich people shit. But just like how many times have you ever heard them say Floyd Mayweather that he's broke, that he's this, that he's that, And just like Doc Boxing, right? He says, "Oh, you're a racist. You use our platforms for to exploit black platforms and racism, and you try to call." And I'm like looking at this guy, going, "I got my heroes on my back of my wall." I'm just like, man, that this dude is like, I mean, people will just say anything, right? Right? It's crazy. I don't even got a Puerto Rican fighter's picture on my wall, but yet I got the brothers on my wall, right? And showing respect and honor to my legends. But like, yo, I think about that too. When I just thought about that, I'm like, come on, man. I don't even got a Puerto Rican fighter on my wall. But I'm like, yo, it's crazy. But yeah, that shit's crazy. Some of these guys, like, you know, um, Richard Hitchinson, some of these guys at 140 are gonna really start to make moves. I like all the fights that just occurred throughout these last few days and everything. And I like some of the announcements that some of the top stories in boxing are putting out. The rumor about Teofimo Lopez and potentially Jerron Boots Ennis meeting at his weight at 147 was an intriguing matchup. Um, and then it also shows, like I said, I alluded to the fact that Devin Haney and his father, um, said that they may find a new home at 147. All fighters moving that way will heat up the 147. It'll really reunite that weight division. That being said, there's going to be some more elbow room at 140 and potentially even fighters moving up. I think Bruce Carrington, he's getting kind of big, and I expected him for a long time to move out through the 130s. Camille Moten is looking big right now. Camille Moten, Cormil Moten, I think is going to start moving up that way too. I think he's a threat, a real problem. There's like these two fighters that look like Tank Davis, and both of them are fighting like a version of Tank Davis. Like there's two of them. And I'm like, damn, man, these dudes look like good. It was like they cloned Tank Davis twice. It's crazy. Um, and in fact, in a way, the other one looks even more polished than Tank Davis was. But anyway, let's not rush these guys along and put them next to Tank Davis's name. That's why I didn't really mention the other name. I'm not doing that. Tank Davis, as a fighter, deserves his respect and his star status of the fighter that he made himself. Tank Davis has been getting a lot of criticism and a lot of scrutiny for the fights that he is or not having. So Tank Davis, I get, where the fans are starting to say, hey, Tank, man, I think it's about time you start mixing it up with some of these top guys. Although we see the remarkable talent that you are and we see all the skills on full display, Tank, we just want you to shut everyone else up. So we're going to need you to kind of fight some of these big fights. Now, getting these guys in the ring together, it's much easier said than done. Politics aside, sometimes a lot of these things, exactly what it is politics, you know, and I don't, you know, I don't potentially see a fight with William Cepeda anymore. That's slowly drifting away from me. That's a man that unfortunately, yes, I've backed him. Yes, I've talked highly of William Cepeda. Yes, um, I believe that William Cepeda was worthy of a titles fight. It just hasn't seemed like it's gonna happen. And as we're watching Keyshawn Davis jump right over him for the WBO, that fight is basically official. Last thing I checked on it, last thing I heard was they're almost finalizing the fight. Um, Keyshawn Davis is all over social media, already promoting and putting the buzz out to that fight. I believe that maybe Top Rank and Bob Arum basically gave him the green light. Yeah, you could start talking about it because this is like right here to being finalized, right? So yeah, so when I watch that, and when I watch cases like other fighters that, cherry picks gone wrong situations, or they are cherry picks and we're waiting for them to go wrong. Case in point, Nick Ball pulling up TJ Doheny. Many of us feel that's a cherry pick, including myself, right? Okay. But if that cherry pick can do that to Jaime Mungia, boy, what happens when cherry picks gone wrong? I try to tell you guys this all the time. Was the gentleman that fought Jaime Mungia last night at the end of his job title? What did it say? What does it say at the end of his job title? It says he's a professional what? Boxer. So it says professional. So he's in the pros. So the guy that was in the ring with Jaime Mungia last night, he was a pro? He's not an amateur. Okay, he's got a shot. And sure enough, you got to remember, this guy's a pro boxer, right? Just like myself, I alluded to the fact that some of these guys got padded records overseas. We see it all the time. Some of these undefeated fighters, 32 and 0, and like the guy is not on that level. As soon as round one kicks off, you're like, man, 32 and 0, right? Okay. Apparently, in this guy's undefeated record, he might have been in a fight or two. He just might have been in a fight or two. Right? And shit didn't go Jaime Munguia's way. You know, um, Unfortunately, shit happens. Jaime Munguia just really gotta um Jaime Munguia really gotta just get himself together. Uh don't find yourself in a situation where you're starting to point the blame everywhere else. I don't think there's no I don't think this is the kind of situation where you start to point the blame everywhere else. I think that this is the kind of situation where um you accept what happened. You got a little laxy daisy in the fight. You made a mistake. You stood in front of him too long. You didn't do what you needed to do. And it, it it didn't turn out the way you wanted. I think just quickly assess the situation, move on, stay with your guys. Bouncing around from gym to gym or from coach to coach can really not, as a fighter, make you feel like you have a home. It's good when you already know that you and your team, win, lose, or draw, you guys are going to be there for each other. That it's no one's fault, really. That you believe in your team and that you was as prepared as you were going to be. So, unless you feel like you've overgrown your team and they've taken you as far as you feel they can take you, and you're gonna need new. I mean, only the fighter really knows that. At this point, Jaime Munguia has probably worked with some of these guys in the past, and you know, um, when fighters lose and leave their training, it kind of sends out red flags to us as a boxing community, where that now he has to go learn a different way of fighting, being told different instructions, things that you're not so familiar with. And as we all know, that one training camp is usually not typically enough time to change your fighter, which in reality is the human body really records or learns one or two punches a year. In order for you to become fluent at throwing that new punch, you're only going to pick up on one or two of them. You're not going to be able, all that extra work, learning six other punches, five other steps, moves, evades, everything. In due time, you're not as fluent with it. So what ends up happening is when you get hit big, you divert right back to the what you know how to do. Your body wants to protect itself, and your mind quickly averts to what you are comfortable with. Whether the style is wrong or not, it's going to go right back there. In order for you to become fluent in something, it takes years. So you typically want to stay with the same coach and the same system so that you can grow as a fighter and grow as a team. I believe that's really important, and it's a key, element to some of these fighters' success. Trusting in your coaches, believing in the process. All this hopping around. So Mungia's got a lot of soul searching right now. He's gonna feel like he did everything right. He did everything he was told to do. He trained, he put in the time, and he didn't get the results that he was expected to get. It could be real discouraging for a fighter when, you put that much work behind your craft and you don't get the result. It can give you a misconception of you may have done something wrong or chose the wrong people to coach you. And then here you go again, starting over. You got to learn how to take the good with the bad and how to work on it. But most importantly, be grounded. And I believe that fighters need to, find the place, find the coach, find the home. And win, lose, or draw, stay on the same team like Tim Duncan. Don't switch it up. Kobe, same team. Started with this team, ended his career with that team. Don't switch it up. Because it can only hurt unless, like I said, you feel you have outgrown the individuals that you are with. The next move you make should be your last move. That should be your home. Because the reason why you're leaving this guy is because you need this pro setting. So you chose this one as your pro. Don't choose this one if it's not the one you wanted. Because now you're going to have to go back to square one. So look, there are a lot of fighters late in their career that are getting different looks. Teofimo Lopez being one of those fighters, going over to Saul Canelo Alvarez's camp. So, it's common. It's common in the sport of boxers for fighters to do as such. So Brian Matias left Panda. I believe that they left on good terms. I believe social media blew it up more than what it was. And like Subriel had alluded to, win, lose, or draw, he was going to, because, training down in Mexico, that he, being away from his family too long, having your wife's, what she doing on the back of your mind while you're fighting type shit. And, you know, your wife is probably telling you there's problems at home, and it's not like you're just around the corner and you could drive over there or 3 hours out from the city. He was legitimately on a different side of the freaking planet, basically. So for fighters, they can get homesick. So I think that Subriel was going to leave Panda, even if he won that night against Liam Paro, he was going to switch it up. So um, it makes it look worse when you're switching it up off of a loss, though. And then if you switch it up while you win, they're gonna be like, "Yo, what the fuck was the problem? Like, you win, Panda took you this, and you're gonna betray him." So either way you do it, you're gonna look bad in some people's eyes. You're not gonna win, you know. So it's a tough sport. It really is, you know. So yeah, guys, I think that some of these big fights right here, Naoya Inoue fight is another big fight that now we're not gonna get on Christmas, but we will get it 1 month later. And like I said, have patience with this fight, although we want this fight. And I'm in agreement with you. I can't wait to see Naoya Inoue back in the ring. He's one of the best fighters and showmanship, show fighters in the ring, where he really comes out and tries to give the fans their money's worth. He's not the type of fighter that's just going to sit there and back up. So, it's going to be January 24th, and finally, hopefully, we have no more hiccups and both men can enter the ring and give us the fight we want. Although, what this does for Naoya Inoue's plans in the future, not unless he starts to shave some times off in between his next two fights to try to get himself that month back. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's just going to take it on the chin, like, okay, I'm 1 month behind. Let's just keep going forward from here. So, depending on what happens on the 24th, we're going to anticipate a matchup, which now I'm starting to see it's going to be in Las Vegas. Out of all the rumors, sometimes when you hear one part of the rumor, um, it's the same, right? You can sometimes say, well, everyone's not in agreement with who he's going to fight, okay? Or who the opponent's going to be. See, a lot of us have different names, right? But I notice that the one thing everybody has is that it's going to be in Las Vegas. All the reporters, they're reporting his next fight, in fact, is going to be in Las Vegas. Now, whether you believe who's right on the name, the one thing that I started noticing is that no, he's saying a different name, same place. He's saying a different name, same place. He's saying a different name, same place. So, though I might not be can really lock down who he's going to fight, everybody seems to say he's going to be fighting in Las Vegas. So that much I can take from it. At least that. So I do believe his next fight is going to be one in America and Las Vegas. If that part, because that's the one thing everyone's talking about. Now, whether or not it really going to be David Picasso and Top Rank is just, you know, doing the usual Top Rank shit. Remember when Top Rank really wanted to kind of like, I guess, you know, stick it to Devin Haney, I guess. You know, um, they said that Sandor Martin was gonna fight Alberto, and then that the winner was gonna fight the Russell. Now the Russell is allegedly fighting Jose Valenzuela, and that even Jose Valenzuela, coach. Well, I guess it's his coach, right? Garcia. Garcia's even confused. He was on on an interview just the other night talking about Jose Valenzuela's situation, and that in actuality, they really haven't had time to sit down and break down all the ins and outs. And Garcia, he's a class act in his own right. Garcia comes on and he wants to clear things up too. And he wants to let the fans know that, and no, by no stretch of the imagination, he's going around trying to steal fighters from other guys. And that, in fact, he has a good relationship with David the Monster Benavides' dad. And that Ryo came to his gym for all of 3 days, but he had fighters and he had to address them. So he really didn't get down to talk to him. Ryo has expressed that he wanted to start training for him, but they haven't even into training camp for this fight. They're 3 months out. So Garcia was really on like I kind of felt like me and Garcia got something in common. Like Garcia, he knows who he is as a man. He doesn't feel like but so many people are saying things, and so many people might get the wrong, message or get the wrong picture about you, that Garcia felt like he had to come out and at least address it. He goes, look, first of all, this is a business and I have a family to feed too. If a man walks through the door and asks for my services, I'll do so. He says, but there's even been times where that a world champion came to talk to me, and I told him, you're better off staying where you are. because for the drama that'll come out for this, you won't even be concentrated. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're winning. Just stay where you are, right? Okay. So when he also helps out these fighters, his job is to make these fighters better fighters. Pushing them away because of friendship or whatever, that doesn't put money on your table. So he's just merely doing his job as a coach. And if you're coming to him, he's going to give you the best coaching he can to make sure you win. So sometimes these are up to the fighters. And yeah, there's coaches that will snake another coach. Yeah, and there's been situations. And, you know, I don't think that Robert Garcia is like that. I think that the Garcia family is a staple in boxing. Mikey Garcia, all of them, man. The daughter, all of them, they're they like a boxing family, man, and that's beautiful to see. And and Garcia felt like he just had to, share a few things and say there's nothing personal here. I love David the Monster Benavides' dad, and we really haven't had a time to talk. And if you would like to talk, we could talk about it. But I'm just helping out the kid that came and asked me for for help. I don't know what your situation is, and I never ask. I don't. I don't got to get into that. I'm a coach. I get paid to do coaching stuff, not to. Hey, so what happened? I'm not your counselor. I'm not. I'm not none of that. So I think he took the right approach. Garcia and got in front of this story. He really got in front of it, and he made sure that what his intentions are, that they're very clear. So yeah. And then so like as well, um, what else do we have here? What else do we have? I think I pretty much said everything I needed to say. If you guys anybody want to come up and share anything, I'm gonna drop the link real quick. I'll stick around for a little while, see if anybody want to come up. If not, then I'll probably end this live stream. I have a few things I need to take care of anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to get on today, regular Sunday and whatever, and get on and cover some of these things. What's going on here that it's not allowing me to send this? Have I been off the thing here? Oh man, are you serious right now? No, according to this, I'm still live. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm right here. Yo, imagine that. I haven't had a single chat from you guys on the restring since Trump said I watched this channel because it's more boxing, less drama, right? That is the last chat text that I got. Now I went to the YouTube channel, pulled up the YouTube channel, and I see my man Ryan Frazier, Box North. Welcome. How you doing, brother? I hope we still friends. Yo, he's a member. Yo, my man, right? Yo, right. Yo, my man, my brother. How you doing? Thank you for being a member here around One Sports Talk. Ryan in the building. Thank you for sticking around and showing me love, brother. You know how I am, man. I've never meant any harm to anybody or anything, and I hope I clarified that. I all I try to do is talk boxing, man. And but thanks, guys. Listen, you guys are like, yeah, man, the support is here. I'm trying desperately to drop this in the chat thing here. And unfortunately, it just got all froze. So that's not gonna be able to happen today, I guess. Here, let me see. Yesterday I was talking with my friend and I was suggesting that maybe he got on and it didn't allow him to stay on. So I'm gonna go close that out. Put this on right here. and see if I can resend the link. Nope. Everything is frozen on my end. I haven't received on the restream anyway, so there's something going on there. But thank you for showing me all the love, support. At least let me read you guys this message. I said it 100. And what's up, Armando? How you guys doing in the building? Yeah, man. Man, I wish I would have seen all these stuff you guys were texting. Yeah, Matt, what's up, Doc Bossy, Ganita Frank? Yo, I wish I would have seen all these texts right here, man. I would have been answering you guys. I didn't, none of this came up. They still mad, huh? Everyone won't talk shit, but I will. Yo, Ryan Frazier, what's up, baby? What's up, Frontline? What's up, Jesus? Who you got winning? Okay, David Picasso is a very long fighter, little tall fighter, good waist. He has one of those waist movements where he's able to like bend himself to try to make himself a little bit shorter, or he can fight a little bit taller. He's got good understanding of boxing. The only thing is he's still in the point in a boxing's career where he has to see everything he's doing. He's not the type of fighter that can fight off instinct, that can create a situation. No, he sees his moments, his situations, and he fires off like a typical boxer. What I mean by creating a situation is a sequence of punches that made the guy do or end up in the place where you were going to ultimately land that big shot. Meaning, stab down to the body, he goes down. You work, stab again to the body. He blocks again. Stab a third time to the body. He goes down again. When you go to stab down to the body the fourth time, switch your angle up and bring it up top. He's going to go down to the body. You just snapped it off the side of his head. That's what you were trying to create. The whole time you were setting that up. You see? So you're creating boxing situations. It's a little bit different than just your average boxer just doing boxing shit and throwing punches. You know, although boxers typically, that's the first things they learn is the fight and how to be more efficient as a boxer. Not every fighter boxes and not every boxer fights. See? So sometimes there's fighters that are 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. They're creating situations and then he goes, boom, you go this way. He threw this punch, boom. He knows you're going to rock back this way. And that's the big punch he was waiting for. Like that. So when I look at David Picasso, he's not on the line where that he's at that level yet. He's boxing, he's fighting well, he's putting his punches together well. Yes. He's just not there. When you're talking about Naoya Inoue and the bell rings, he quickly takes the center of the ring and he starts to push the pace. He quickly takes the fight and he usually gets the fighter right away to start fighting his fight without the fighter knowing. The fighter calmly tries to re-center and he quickly takes away their best attributes, whether it's the jab, the body shot, whatever. And then what Naoya Inoue, part of his success is that right away, in every one of Naoya Inoue's fight, I noticed he tries to hit his guy with a big shot early. He likes to establish his power dominance, right? His speed and everything early. So it starts to alter the fighter's approach. Now the fighter is no longer doing or following his game plan. He's starting to improvise in front of him. He forgot the game plan, everything where he's trying to survive now, right? And he's doing things and he's got his coach in his corner. You're not doing what I told you to do. You're not doing what I told you to do. This is not what we worked on. When you start to hear that, it's because now he's no longer comfortable. Naoya Inoue is pushing this kind of pace on him and pushing that kind of power and speed that has got him second guessing on what he's supposed to be doing. And they forget. So that's why he's really dangerous when it comes to establishing the rhythm of the fight. Naoya Inoue quickly takes the lead in a lot of his fights. You can catch him like Luis Pantera Nari showed the world. Sometimes he can be a little bit too aggressive. I think he underestimated Luis Pantera Nari's IQ and ability. And although he didn't look like the type of fighter that should have gave him problems, he was obviously a type of fighter to understand his moments and his spots. And Luis Pantera Nari pulled the trigger and he almost had him. Man, he almost had Naoya Inoue. Man, Naoya Inoue got up off that thing, and the rest is history. We know what happened. He showed if you don't finish me, and you let me up, and I'm still in this fight, well then, you might have a problem. So you got to put him away. He's the type of fighter that, just like Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez went down. What happened when he got up? Those kind of guys, you can't, put them kind of guys down and take a moral victory thinking, oh, now I'm going to coast in this fight, because no, now he's coming to get it back. And they're even more dangerous. So, we saw it firsthand, Naoya Inoue's superior boxing skills. We saw him face adversity. We saw Naoya Inoue, and what I find really ironic about this whole debate about the guy is, my entire argument or debate, if you want to call it that, is just simply what he really is. No more, no less. I don't boost this guy up any more than what he hasn't already done for himself. He really doesn't need me, but since, a lot of people don't really know who he is, I find him to be an exceptional boxer, and I find him to be one of the best. So I like talking about great fighters. I told you guys a lot of times on this show that I was going to get a lot of criticism for this, didn't I? And I was going to be, talked about in some circles like, oh, look at this guy. He's just talking. No, I talk about any guy, any fighter, any fighter. And you guys should know by now. And it's like, man. So I knew that I would get criticism and be scrutinized and stuff. And sometimes I feel like I'm in an island by myself. And I really don't mean to like always be talking about him. He just had a fight schedule now. We talk about our fighters months. Tank Davis, Devin, Shakur. Yo, they're talking about them guys for 4 months straight leading into his fight. This guy was 30 days out from his fight. I started making Naoya Inoue videos, and all of a sudden I'm this, I'm that. I haven't even talked about Naoya Inoue a third of the time that you can go on any channel and just pick one fighter, Tank Davis. See how much they talk about him. So you can obviously see that some people are butthurt, and that some people just, maybe some people are really a certain way and don't even realize it. Come to think about it. To me, he's just a boxer. He's just a boxer that does it exceptionally well. That's all I see. A fucking warrior. That's it. And I value him for the skills that he has. I've never viewed it any other way, you know? Until like now I started getting on this social media thing and I see that, yo, everybody doesn't really think alike and you can really be like misunderstood. Um, talking a guy up and stuff, and then you can allow yourself in time to slide down this road that you vowed you'll never go. And then one day you wake up and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? You're like, how the hell did I get here? And it's like, they got you, bro. You knew this was gonna happen, Edwin, and you still fucking fell for it, man. Like, I'll be like, man, I should have never addressed these dudes. Like, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is, family. You guys are always the best, man. I'm sorry that I wasn't so much with your Texas here today, guys. Armando, yo, you are the best. You are the man. And you know, like, you know, oh, he did, Ryan? He cleared the air with that? Are you talking about what I was talking about Robert Garcia? Is that the one? Because in your text it says Benavidez Senior clear. Oh, Benavidez Senior cleared the air already. He said it made sense for Rio because his. Oh yeah, okay. So he did clear it with that. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that's what's up. Because like I thought that it was real cool. It was a class act for Robert Garcia to, address the people and stuff. And now that you're informing me now that they on Benavidez's team, in fact, double down on it, it's unfortunate that sometimes fighters feel this way, and you help this guy come up the ranking and make him a world champion. And like David the Monster Benavidez's dad said, like he was out on another fight when he got the wind of this on social media. He didn't even give him a phone call from what he's saying, and and that the situation took him by storm. A lot of people can go into this and misread a lot of things, so that the fact that both gentlemen came out, and they're gonna really let the young man, pick his future. What what he feels is best for him. Hopefully, right, Jose Valenzuela wins his next fight. Because you know what's gonna happen, guys, right? If he loses. You guys know exactly what's gonna happen if he loses. They're gonna be like, yo, you left, you could have been winning with us, and da 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 da. You could already hear the headlines if he loses. So when you switch, some of these things can definitely um you know, come to bite you in your ass, and it can give you a misconception of what this fighter is, and so forth and so forth. But thank you, Ryan, for letting us know that. I want to go on and check those stories out myself too and see what I get out of it. Now that I know that he has addressed it, I'm going to be looking for that. And what do I see if he's sincere about it? You can see it in a man's eyes if he just, yeah, 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 he looks good. Yeah, 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 because he was gonna go over there because of his coach. Yeah, yeah, and walk off like, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta hear it for yourself, and it's good that we do our due diligence as reporting boxing so that we can be more correct with the stories that we put back out there to you fans. So listen, fight fans, thank you for tuning in today. I had an amazing day today. Um, I'm sorry about this debacle. I actually feel embarrassed a little bit about it. Um, because I'm older now. I'm older now and I should know better. I shouldn't let people drag me into things. I just felt like I was being personally attacked. And whether or not you feel like I handle it in the right way or I let my ghetto side take a walk, I try to not handle things that this way. There's a better approach. And I know that better than anything. You could have handled this way, Edwin, but there was another way to handle this entire situation. So you must learn through that, through your life, and you must learn how to be accountable and take your side of the street, Edwin. As long as you stay firm on, you know, how you conducted yourselves, not about your beliefs or trying to change anybody else's mind, right? But just conduct yourself in a respectable manner. And if people are going to come out and feel that they have to lash out at you like that, well, then it's up to you to feel out when you need to respond back, Edwin. And that is just a message to myself. Thank you, Fight fans. Thank you for tuning in. Please drop a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Thank you, chat family. Thank you for participating today. Everybody that put a comment, salute to all of you. One time here from me to you to Round One Sports Talk. Thank you. And we'll be going on again sometimes, probably not tonight, but I will see you guys. I'm going to try to squeeze one in. You guys know how it is. Monday and Tuesdays, my wife's days off. So usually those are the days that I typically don't go on. But for you guys, I will definitely try to squeeze one in. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Love, peace.